Well, employees these days are more unhappy now than they were during the worst of the COVID pandemic. This is according to a new report from Bamboo HR.
Now, employees in healthcare, education, tech, finance are the most unhappy. This is what the report found.
Oh,
Yeah, and Charles Feldman is here with more.
that's kind of sad.
It is.
I'm sure.
You're not happy, Charles?
No, but we're going to talk now with Dr. Vince Callahan, who's a mental health expert. Doctor, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So is this sort of a very kind of first world, 21st century problem? Because there was a time when, people would go, well, happy, unhappy. It is called work, after all. Why do we need to be happy at work?
Well, we need to be happy. They have found in studies where when people are content or happy at work, they're actually more productive. They have less days where they call out sick. They have less addiction issues, and they have better social relationships. So there is something to being happy or content at work. But folks who are in whether it's a police officer, teacher, nurse, mental health professional, there is something called compassion fatigue, where you can it's a form of burnout. Just because you don't see the larger picture and you don't have a good work-life balance and you're always working, and not having any time for yourself.
What is making so many employees unhappy? I can, I guess, understand healthcare because, if they were working during the pandemic, that was a really tough time for many people in healthcare. Same really for, I suppose, education, because the schools were shut and that sort of thing. But in general, are there one or two things that are just making many workers unhappy?
Well, personally, my opinion is that I think we got spoiled in COVID, where we got to work from home and not have to go and be accountable to somebody and to show up. And I'm just going to throw it out there that I think people maybe got a little bit lazy on this one. And now it's like, oh my God, do I have to go to work kind of thing. But yeah, you do. And if I could hear my dad, he was in his 90s when he passed 2 years ago. I could hear my dad going, oh my gosh, you guys don't understand what work really is. Basically suck it up, buttercup kind of thing. But
well, that's what I was saying before, that there was a time when people would go, well, it's work. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be happy at work. If you want to be happy when you get out of your job, whatever time you quit, go home and be happy. Is there more that employers can do? Because you're suggesting that perhaps because of the pandemic, people got spoiled by, quote, working at home, which I always suspected means they're like working an hour but not 7.
Right.
What can employers do, or is there anything an employer can do?
I think employers have really sacrificed efficiency for relationships. I think you can look at an organization to see if it's mentally healthy, and you determine that by how the managers and the higher ups actually relate to their employees and how they deal with them. I know a lot of folks that work 50, 60, 70 hours a week for their employer and get paid 40 and then don't even use their vacation time. And there's something wrong with that, being driven so hard and to try and get something where it's like, wait, why are we doing this?
Now, I understand that workers in construction are really happy, and you would think, because people always joke and they go, well, it's not construction, right? When they're wanting to say that that's a really tough job. It is a tough job. So how come they're so happy?
Well, think about it. If you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders and you've got deadlines and you've got pressures and things that you've got to do, and versus having to swing a hammer, or my dad was a plumber, and he absolutely loved being a commercial plumber. And all he had to do was make sure that the pipes were in straight and everything was good. And that was his total responsibility for the day. And so when you think about what a construction person does, they go to work, they do their job, they come home, and the rest of the day is theirs. And so there's not this whole expectation of, I've got to get ahead and I've got to do so much to drive things.
Let's do a very quick experiment here in the studio. There are 3 of us here, right? So raise your hands, okay, guys? Mm-hmm. If you are happy at work, just raise your hands. Okay. Well, Dr. Vince Callahan, thank you. Thank you.
I got to know who raised their hands. Did anybody raise their hands or no?
Our lips are sealed. Our
lips are sealed.
Okay.
I raised my elbow.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think
it
you
was
were-
a
There
slow
you go.
I think
wave.
you
It
were.
was-
I think
yeah.
you were scratching your nose was what you were doing. Okay, that's Dr. Vince Callahan, who is a mental health expert. Thanks.